Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Rage, by the way, back with another warrior video, Fury Warrior video. We're gonna be taking a look at kind of like what professions I'm gonna be picking as we go through TBC. I'm kind of in the middle of queues right now, just PvP queuing, trying to get my high warlord set. Figured why not make a video talking about the kind of professions I'm gonna be doing and the progression that I'm gonna be doing as I'm doing those professions. So to get right into it, first off, you know, we kind of take a look of a list over like what we could possibly get. There's, you know, enchanting, blacksmithing, leatherworking, what else? Jewel crafting. Jewel crafting is the new one, obviously. Alchemy, you know, all kinds of different choices, obviously. A lot of people I know, like going into TBC, are hype about jewel crafting. Jewel crafting is going to be a really good way to make money, and you know, it'll be a really solid way to help out your group and, you know, to cut gems and whatnot. But for warrior, like if we're trying to min-max warrior, not really the best. Nothing really that we get that is super helpful for us. Like I said, it's really good for like making money, and especially like, you know, as we get into it, people are going to probably charge a lot for meta gem cuts. Usually those at the start of an expansion go for quite a bit. So it just kind of depends. You can hop on the jewel crafting train if you really like the jewel crafting train, like you want to do it because the hype for the TBC. I recommend just doing it on alt. Maybe you have a level 60, another level 60 that's an alt that could use jewel crafting, that could actually have something, you know, a money making thing. But there's not too much that actually like comes into play as a warrior for jewel crafting, so we're going to kind of avoid that. The big ones obviously are going to be blacksmithing and engineering for a warrior. Blacksmithing for obvious reasons. We're gonna go for Dragon Maw. I'll pull up my Atlas loot right here. So we're gonna go crafting, blacksmithing. So obviously the biggest thing right here, we're gonna go for Drakefist Hammer, Dragon Maw, Dragon Strike. Those are the three biggest ones that we want as a warrior. The maces are really nice. The haste bonus is really nice. Some of our best in slots, main hands for the expansion. We're gonna want to try to get Drakefist Hammer almost immediately after we hit 70. Try to get the mats for that and make a Drakefist Hammer. It'll be readily available to us as long as we get mace specialization and as long as we get the mats for it. So Drakefist Hammer is a really good way to push yourself above the crowd as we go into it. So look at this guy. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna want to go into that 100%. There is a lot of conversation right now about whether it would be better for an orc to go axes for the axe specialization, you know, obviously the expertise and whatnot. There was a lot of like conversation about that because they ended up changing it. So we're in 2.4 for the patch, but they ended up going back and we're actually there, so everything's gonna be a main hand instead of one hand. If we could do one hand, it'd be Drakefist all the way. Drakefist would be like totally the choice, 100%. Like this is the one you go. To me, I still think it's like 100% like the one you go even as an orc. I think that Drakefist and Dragon Maw and Dragon Strike are just really OP. The haste rating is really nice when it procs for a Fury Warrior. But you could make the argument if you're a warrior, you want to try axes. You could make an argument for axes, right? The axes are still gonna be good. The ratings on them, the equips, I mean, they're good all the way around. I mean, they're just solid choices. They're gonna be, if you don't like relying on like the haste rating proc and all that thing, they're a good solid choice. They're gonna be your best in slots for the most part, comparable to like what else you could get at that level. So planar edge, black planar edge, you know, all those gonna be great choices. You could definitely go with that if you prefer that, if you want to try it. For me personally, I'm gonna be doing maces. That's just how I'm rolling. So like I said earlier, engineering's gonna be big for us as we go through the expansion. We actually don't actually get goggles at the start of the expansion, which is kind of bizarre. They changed that with the with also the main hand thing, so with the blacksmithing. So we're gonna get engineering, but for starters, we're gonna try to just use it as a gold farm and just like get it as far up as we can. If you're a tank, now if you're a prot warrior, I know that engineering is like one of your best because Goblin Rocket Launcher is like one of the best in slot trinkets you can get as a tank for a while. You can equip 2 of them. They're not unique equipped, and you get like, so you end up getting like 90 plus stamina. Really big tank boost for stam wise. You know, you need a lot of stam as a tank going into TBC, especially right away when like gear's not the best. Building stam is a really good way to like keep yourself alive. And then, you know, the on use effect is obviously could be good for pulling. I mean, I haven't seen it used too many times, but obviously a good way to pull too if you want to do that. But for us, the biggest thing here is that we're going to be going for goggles, our plate goggles. Our plate goggles are actually like some of our best in slot for the most part. When we get up to tier 6, phase 5, tier 6, whatever you want to call it. So when we get to Sunwell, our goggles are actually better. They're not, I don't think they're showing up right now. Oop. Engineering, I'm all over the place. I don't think the ones that we want are showing up right now. I don't think these are the end game ones. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. But our end game ones are actually better than like Cursed Vision of or the Cursed Vision or whatever that drops off Illidan. They're actually better than Cursed Vision. So as we get into phase 5, depending on like how long it takes you to actually get these, I think they'll be available just to like learn right away. You'll be able to get these like pretty much like right at phase 5 as long as you have the materials, which is nice because like if they're your best in slots, like combine that with like the Badge of Justice like weapons and stuff that you get in phase 5, like we're gonna be like machines by the time phase 5 comes around. Just because like we're able to get our gear very, very fast. By that time, I think our blacksmithing kind of falls off. We're not really using Dragon Strike, Dragon or Wicked Edge by that time. You know, there's a good chance that you could be using it. Still really good weapons, really solid. Just kind of depends on how far you enter or you are into phase 5. But engineering is also a very good one. On top of the plate goggles being very, very good for us, we're also going to be able to do we're actually gonna be able to extract motes from gas clouds in random areas in Outland, which is really good for making money. Let me load this up. So really good for making money. Sorry, like I said, I'm like in the middle of doing BG, so I just thought I'd make a quick video. Really good for making money, mote extracting. It gives you all the motes, you know, all the motes of fire and all those things that you need to make the things that you need, like your primal stuff to make your goggles and your blacksmithing hammers and all that stuff, or axes, whatever you're going with. So really good way to make money. Also super easy to do. You just need to make the bad thing is that like as we start, it's kind of crappy because we're not gonna have the goggles to see the gas clouds on our map like you would. Like it works almost like a blacksmithing like find ore type thing, or a mining find ore type thing. We won't have the goggles for that, which kind of sucks. But if you know the routes and you look them up, you know, you can look them up online too. There's like a lot of routes that people like show you how to take for these kind of things. You can see them, you can actually see them. You don't need the goggles to actually see the clouds or whatever. So it is still possible to farm those very easily. Also, we're gonna get repair bots. Repair bots are always useful in a raid. You know, everybody needs, you know, repair bots. You know, maybe you're on a really hard raid, maybe you're pushing really fast, you don't have the greatest gear, but your guild's trying to like push things. Repair bots obviously have their niche. Flying machines, eventually we'll be able to like make flying machines that will be really nice for us. They're really cool. They're like the only like really niche flying machine, like flying mount you can get for the most part, besides like the rep ones. You know, no other class or no other profession or anything has these types of things. Everybody's gonna be riding around on like on a bot mount, like just a gold mount, and you'll be able to like be on a flying machine. Really cool. Turbo charged flying machine is really sick to see. I'll probably put like a picture like up here somewhere, edit that in. But yeah, that's also really dope. Besides that, we also have, I'm also a big advocator of farming the rangers in Netherstorm, the like Blood Elf Rangers, because they drop these plans that make arrows, and these arrows are actually like really good starting out. They do 43 damage, the arrows and the bullets. 43 damage is like better than most arrows that hunters can get up until then. Very good way to make money. These sell for a lot. Each of these things has 5 charges, so each of these ones makes 1,000 arrows or 1,000 bullets, and the stuff is really cheap to make. So engineering is also a really good money earner till we get to that point. So back to the blacksmithing. So at the start of the expansion, I'm actually going to be in blacksmithing and mining. So the reason I'm doing mining is because at the start of an expansion, we want to try to push for our Drake Fist as fast as possible, or the planar edge, depending on what you're doing. You want to try to push for it as fast as possible, but you also don't want to pay a ton for gold, or you don't want to pay a ton of gold on mats. You know, mats are going to be really expensive at the start of every expansion. If you're one of those people that really want to push for it, having it, mining is going to be like your bread and butter. It's going to be the way you either make money or get your weapons that you want. On top of that, if you are planning on going engineering, it's a really good idea to have mining into surplus, like stockpile a bunch of mats. That way you don't have to worry about the engineering later on. Obviously engineering, you're still gonna have to level it 1 through 300 first. You can easily buy the mats on the auction house, and maybe you get enough mats from mining that you are able to buy them on the auction house. You can sell all your stuff. So we're definitely going to want that to start out with. You can go mining, or you can go blacksmithing and engineering. If you have an alt that has mining and you plan on playing the alt too to like maybe feed your main, like your warrior, it would be that would also be a good idea, because then you can already have engineering and you can start moat farming. The earlier you can moat farm, obviously the better, because nobody's going to be really moat farming. So that is also a very good way to like make money and stuff. Other than that, nothing else here really means much to us. You could go leatherworking for drums. Obviously drums in any group is going to be absolutely insane. Drums are going to be huge in TBC. Even though they did nerf them, drums are still a big part of like rotations and everything in TBC. They're still going to be very popular. You're going to want at least a couple people, you know, you want at least one person per group of 5 in your raid. So if you can, I would like persuade your raid to not be drums. I don't think drums are going to help you. You could do them early on instead of, you could do leatherworking early on instead of engineering, like I said, because we're not going to get goggles for a while anyway. But it's just not very like, it's just very like niche. You're going to end up getting rid of it, and then your guild's going to have to worry about finding somebody else to replace that leatherworking spot. My advice is your guild just figure out who has the leatherworking early on, just that way you don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to end up waiting to switch. I know warriors that are going leatherworking. You can do it. Like I said, it's not that big a deal, but you will end up wanting to switch for engineering because the goggles are so good later on. But yeah, other than that, pretty straightforward. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Alchemy, you know, all those things, you know, there's a lot of things you can do for money. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to min-max your warrior, you're going to want to go blacksmithing and engineering by the time you're at endgame. Those are going to be the 2 best ones you can possibly do. Like I said, I just was doing kind of a short little video explaining my explaining what I'm going to do explaining what I'm doing for professions. Oh, I could not say that. Explaining what I'm doing for professions. I figured this would be a good guide, because a lot of people are like kind of on the fence on what they want to do as a warrior. There's so many options you can do, a lot of money making options, a lot of things that you can try and experiment with. Personally, at the end of the day, I think blacksmithing and engineering is going to be your best bet, and then start with blacksmithing and mining, move to blacksmithing and engineering. Worry about a lot of those other professions, the gold making professions, on your alts. Have an alt that you can do professions on. If you don't have an alt, keep mining a little bit longer, you know, keep your mining around a little bit longer than you would for engineering. Maybe push engineering all the way out to waiting towards the end of it. If you do push for your engineering, you're obviously, once you drop mining, you're obviously going to have to try to get all your mats any mats that you ever need. So you'll have to buy those off the auction house, which could outweigh your getting gold from your moat extractor, but then like you're spending your gold on like items that you need, you know, from mining, so that you could have been getting. So biggest advice, when you do blacksmithing mining, when you're doing mining, stockpile as much as you can. Don't sell it right away. Keep as much as you possibly can just to level up all your stuff. Like I said, those arrows and those bullets are going to sell for a lot. I guarantee you they'll sell for a lot. A lot of people aren't going to be thinking about doing that. Hunters are going to want them. They're literally like the best arrows and bullets in the game up until, you know, you have a certain amount of rep and all that kind of stuff. So this has been my little guide. I appreciate you guys. Make sure to check out the stream. I stream every day. I'm going to be streaming here after I post this video here in like an hour or so, or whatever. I don't know, whatever time it is for you guys. But if you're seeing this, I might be live. Make sure to check out my Twitch down at the bottom. Gonna put like my little pop-up. I got my little pop-up like over here somewhere. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you again on the next video.